Buonasera a tutti, my name is Silvana and she is Martina. And we are here during this second day of the Purves Short Film Festival with a very special guest, Mr. Purves. So, good evening, Mr. Purves. We are delighted to have the opportunity to
I will come to Venice at any excuse. I love Venice. I love the attitude, obviously the history of the place, and the great artists who've been here before, but I work with a lot of students, I talk to a lot of students, but the students here, they respond, which is so important when you're giving a talk, and that, you know, sometimes there's nothing. But Italian students seem to chat. And going around Venice today, everybody was chatting. It's lovely. It's a sharing city.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you agree, but I
don't agree about Venice, but Italy, yes. Venice in particular.
Yes. But I've had a good. I'll talk to anyone, you see.
Yeah, I do too.
And I've had a great time. I've taught at the university a few times, and we've done workshops and things, and it's always been lovely. I've always had a great time. And the ice cream. Let's talk about the ice cream.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
The cherry ice cream.
Amarena.
Yes. There is one that's slightly better, but I won't mention.
Yeah, but I have one too, I'll tell you later.
Turino. They make brilliant cherry ice cream. Maybe it's because I go there when it's really hot and you're desperate for an ice cream. And the students had an ice cream party for me the last time I went. Sorry, we're meant to be talking about art and things.
So we are here with Barry Purves.
And Lord Todd Wadley.
Yeah, of course.
Don't forget.
He is an animator, a screenwriter, and an eclectic British director whose short films have been nominated for renewed awards like Academy Award and British Academy Film Awards.
Yeah.
And along with his works as an animation director on his own films, he has also co-worked with Tim Burton for Mars Attacks and with Peter Jackson for King Kong.
Yeah, that's not bad, is it? Both very different experiences. Both technology was changing how films were made, and Mars Attacks was going to be stop motion. The Martians were going to be stop motion. Technology was changing. A film called Jumanji came out that had put zebras and elephants into live action, and the producers thought, we can do that with Martians, and it wasn't stop motion. And then on King Kong, which was one of the greatest experiences to work on, they still weren't quite sure how King Kong was going to be done. Was he going to be animated CG, or was he going to be stop motion at one point? But no, they eventually went with motion capture. Andy Serkis performed King Kong, and they turned him into a CG character. So both times I've had a great experience learning in Hollywood and learning in New Zealand. But I sort of lost the job through technology, really. But it was great. I loved it. I still like holding a puppet. That's, you can't beat holding a puppet. You know, whatever the technology, just a hand and a puppet and a pool of light is what it's about for me, anyway.
Yeah, we will do a question about this later on, because we thought about this. I'm going on with a bit more about you. So, Purves' passion for theatre and cinema is reflected in many of your his works. And he's here this year at the Purves Short Film Festival also to present us your most recent work, No Ordinary Joe, that we just watched 10 minutes before. This is a short film set on a stage, if I'm not wrong.
Limbo.
Okay, you're not really...
Yes,
but
it's not a real place.
Okay, but stop motion
Yes.
and live action
Yes.
alternates and
Yes.
are put together in this. And he's the main, one of the main
The
characters.
film is about a relationship between a female and him,
Yeah.
who in real life, they did have a passionate relationship. They loved each other. As animators love their creations. It's a very bizarre story. Animation is very bizarre. But there's a lot of gender issues going on. She was a lesbian with 120 lovers. Not at the same time, I hasten to add. But her real affection was for him. He and his role in her life was to make sense of her life. If she had any questions, Toddy, do you think she's the right woman for me? Do you think I should buy a speedboat? You can make it. You know, all of us have a Toddy in our life. Whether it's a cat that you go home and at night and say, "Oh, Marcus, what a day I've had. Let me tell you about it." You know, we always need an outlet to make sense of our day, our life. And it could be a baby that we talk to, or a husband, or whatever. Or we talk to the television. Or we need to get it off our chest to talk. And this film is about this puppet who makes sense of her rather complicated life. And I've made several films that are about, have I done enough? The characters are thinking, have I done enough with their life? And there's usually been a device like Toddy to say, yeah, you did okay. You did okay. And that's the journey of the film, from this woman who's rather doubting that she's made a mess of her life or whatever. And he says, yeah, we've done okay. Okay, thank you. I can move on. She does.
Yeah.
So now we would like to ask you some questions
Yes.
about your inspiring career. So,
You're too kind.
so from your plays, such as Achilles, Next, Rigoletto, emerges your passion for classical theatre, but also for Shakespeare and opera. So,
Well, I think what it is storytelling. Different ways, different cultures. I adore Shakespeare. I read a page every day. In my toilet at home I have the complete works and I read the speech a day or something. But I love how the ancient Greeks told stories using a chorus and very stylized performance. I love opera, which uses everything. Emotion, scenery, costumes, orchestra. And I think my little films are sort of I appreciate the world of art and culture, and this is my take on it. Also, perhaps they're making sense of my life as well. There's a film about Tchaikovsky I made, where similar, he's looking back on his life, wondering if he's done enough, and he comes to the conclusion, Swan Lake, that's quite good. That's an achievement. And my sister saw it and she said, it's not about Tchaikovsky at all, is it? It's about you making your sense of your life. And I think that's what art is. It's making sense, or showing how to live, or to make sense of life, I think. Even cavemen, they had an elder sat around a campfire and he told stories about the gods. Whether the gods existed or not, who knows, but each story had a moral. We've upset them because we haven't done this. It's all fables about how to live. We find it easier to talk as a metaphor rather than talking face to face. If you were my wife, I had a cat. Will you tell my wife that she's being a right pain? Why can't I say that to you? It's easier to find another way, or we're more comfortable not talking about ourselves. We talk in metaphor, we paint things that make sense of our life or our beliefs or celebrations or our anxieties and things. I think that's what art is, really. And gosh, in Venice, you're just bombarded with ideas. And, okay, what's particularly good about Venice is the mask. You put a mask on, you can be anybody. The idea that a mask conceals is so wrong. You know, people who have inhibitions can put a mask on and they can flirt, they can dance, they can play an instrument, they can sing, they can run crazy around St. Mark's that they couldn't do normally. Society wouldn't let them. But put on a red nose, a mask, silly hat, drag, whatever, art releases you. It releases your inhibitions, I think. That's quite profound, isn't it?
Yeah, is it?
Did you just want a yes or no answer?
No, that's perfect. I'm really happy to be, glad to be here.
Good.
So,
I'm just not as happy as I'm glad to be here. It's lovely.
So I'm gonna go with the next.
Yeah.
So what is your bond with your creations?
It's my hand. I'm old and I see technology change how we make films. When I started, we didn't have any video assist, so we would move a character and we couldn't tell whether it was too much or too little or ugly or whatever. Now students and animators have video, they can go back and readjust and everything. I grew up learning on instinct. And that's something I would encourage young students to maybe animate a puppet blind so you can feel in your hands. This is the best recording device you will ever have. Always. Video is good. It can slow you down and can offer too many questions. Go with your instinct. I tend to sort of, when I animate, I tend to go click, click. Maybe look at the camera. Yeah, he's focused on the camera. Click. But a lot of animators today go previous frame. Just do it. It's a performance, a slow performance, but it's a performance. Technology is brilliant, can get in the way. And I think the joy of stop motion, and stop motion animators will agree, is that you're holding it, and it's complete. I've worked on some CG films, and you just have a metal frame skeleton, or a computer skeleton. Somebody else puts the face on, somebody else puts the hair on, somebody else does the shadow, but here it's the complete thing. He's my alter ego. He's the actor in me, and I act through him. And I don't like technology to get in the way of that performance. Or rather, I don't like the performance to be made in an edit suite somewhere else. I like to perform him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's something like books that now we're replacing by...
Yeah.
I write poems, and
Yeah.
I like to...
And I think that's interesting. Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, they didn't have a word processor. So they must have planned it all on paper. And they must have written and scratched it out. But those scratches are still there. You can't... It's interesting how they conceived a huge book like Oliver Twist of 600 pages. How did he plan everything out, or did he just write it and have it in his head? I don't know. I think computer gives you a great safety net, but maybe you don't take as many risks knowing that you can do it again. But if somebody said, "Here, Barry, here's 24 million to make a CG film," yeah, of course, I'd say yes. I'd rather say, "Can I do it with puppets? Can I touch it?"
It's like you're trying to keep a traditional way of making films.
A craft. and it's a personal craft. I think these big CG films, you look at, you set up the credits and the end, they go on for thousands. There are less people involved with it. I won't really let anybody else animate.
So you do it your own.
So another question?
Yes, another answer.
So in your online diary on March 23rd, 2020, you wrote that the lockdown could be an opportunity to be creative instead of just giving up and letting darkness take over, like it happens in Purves. So how had that period changed your vision of your work?
I was looking for a studio to film this in, and I work at a local theatre, and they closed. And they have a big studio that's twice as big as this, perhaps. And I said, could I hire it? There'll be me, a cameraman, maybe somebody else. We won't interfere with the theatre, you won't know we're here, you can shut the rest of the theatre. And they said, yes, here's a fee. And so we moved into the studio because they had a season of plays and the plays were all cancelled. So it was a dead space, and I thought, if we all wear masks and we're careful and everything. And so I managed to find a studio thanks to COVID. But let me tell you, animating in a mask is terrible because it's quite a physical job anyway. And the film was quite dark. And I wear glasses, so I'm breathing. The glasses were steaming up, and it was quite. And COVID, we had to keep our distance. I couldn't just look through the camera or be too close to the cameraman, So it changed, but I got to make a film. The post-production was difficult because we were split between London, Bristol, Manchester. It was all done remote, which is, as you know, is quite difficult. Talking on Zoom was frustrating. But we got it made, and you've seen the film tonight, so they liked it, I think, Tony. Yeah, she's quite pretty, isn't she? Don't be naughty. God, he's awful. Sorry, he'll behave himself.
I've got one last question that is not planned, but I don't know if you can tell me or just tell us something
I love spontaneity.
About if you have any idea for your future works in mind, that you can give us some tips
Yes,
about.
well, okay, that's a good question, and I should be honest. For every film I make, there are 5 that die. Having the ideas is never the problem. But if you gave me a budget now, I have a film I wrote 15 years ago, set in Venice. I so want to make. I'm going around Venice today, I'm going, oh look, I was doing the storyboards in my head as I was coming. I'm sort of at the end of my career. I want to make a feature film. And I've written a murder mystery, a whodunit, basically set in Venice, with a twist that's appropriate to Venice. All the characters are typical Agatha Christie characters, but they all have bird heads. And the bird dictates their characteristic. Our hero is a penguin. He's a tour guide, and has a penguin head and very jolly and happy and everything. There's a Russian dowager who's very sinister. She has a turkey head and then there's a bisexual naval officer who's a gannet, like a swan, and it's full of layers and about Venice and masks and everything. Isn't it ironic, here we are in a city of masks and we're all having to wear masks? But of course, what was the purpose of masks? Plagues, the plague doctor, and put lavender, I don't know what herbs they put in, but they put herbs in the thing to breathe. And then people, I guess they found, I can be sexy in a mask, I can be naughty, you know. So yeah, the whole thing of masks as liberating yourself, which I think art is a mask. Give a man a mask and he'll tell you the truth. Yeah, give a man a mask and he'll tell you the truth. Oscar Wilde said that, which I think, yeah. Give a man a puppet, he'll tell you the truth. Give a man a drawing, he'll draw the truth. So we just need the permission of a red nose or a mask or a bit of makeup or something. And then it's not us who's saying we can get away with anything.
So we'll keep your dream in mind about this.
Yes, if anybody wants to finance an 85-minute film called Two Can Tango, you know where to get hold. And your name will be in very big letters at the end.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Thank you.
So thank you for your time.
No, it's my pleasure. It really is my pleasure. It's been good. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Todd says, yes. No, I think they're married or something. No, they don't want to take you for a drink. No. Sorry,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Enjoy Venice.
I do. I will. Thank you.